Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
How you all doing?
Good.
All right. Do we have any students inside of the classroom?
Hi, Professor. No one yet.
You said who?
No one are here yet.
Okay.
Professor, I'm
Yes.
heading to the classroom right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone like to give us a recap on what we did last week?
Let's see.
Anyone like to give a recap on what we did last
Oh,
week?
give me a second. We did. Oh, the okay. Sure.
It sounds a little choppy if you're trying to speak.
Am I pretty clear,
Okay,
Dr. Hill? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. So,
We talked about solo leadership and shared leadership, and then we had the debate on it.
Great. Shared leadership, solo leadership. You did a debate. Um, you all did a phenomenal job last week engaging with that. Hmm. And so, can anyone? And so you all kind of learned how to uh, facilitate an actual debate. After I kind of stepped in and moderated for you all. Um, what are we talking about this week? What is week 5?
um, virtues and values. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. In the chapter it talks about virtues and values, the difference, emphasizing the focus that's prescribed to students who believe in cultivating those different character traits. So that's what I got from that chapter. I kind of disagree a little bit because I feel like everybody has a different view on how they see things, as far as for their kids, per se. So, um, but and what I see is, just from the chapter itself, they value the virtues over values pretty much because they want to help the students actually, to work together pretty much in their prescribed groups. It's pretty much that's what I got from the chapter from that part of the chapter. Hello, hello. Oh no. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, man.
We can hear you. It's just like Professor
Can you
is
hear
on
me?
mute. Yeah, yeah, we can
She's
hear
on.
you. Yeah,
Did you
Professor
hear me?
will.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Just
was wondering what happened. I thought I got cut off again. I was like, oh man. Okay.
no, you're good. Professor is unmute just right.
Oh, okay.
So yes, thank you for that. Sorry about that. That's why I had to give kudos um for that synopsis. Was there any questions that you stated at the end of your
Yes, we got cut off. I
insight?
was yeah, we got cut off. So I was saying that what I got from the chapter pretty much was the character traits and the responsibility of the of what they believed in as far as with the virtues and the values. So they pretty much uh had like a moral reasoning in their in their beliefs or acceptable beliefs in the chapter. So that's pretty much what I got of it. I mean, as far as
Okay,
like the short synopsis what I'm giving you.
okay, okay. That'll work. That'll work. Um, so I did give you some applaud emojis for kind of highlighting those key points, key elements. Um, so the debate last week was basically indicating whether um, Brookside should be collaborating or using solar leadership versus shared leadership. And I kind of indicated and shared that depending on, and I think some of the groups or many of the groups kind of depicted that it depends on what in particular, what topic or what subject matter um, that may be up for discussion or tackled to determine whether the principal needs to just make the executive decision, which is more solo leadership, or a collaborative approach, which is the shared leadership. So, um, and I told you all that was more than correct, right? Um, to have that viewpoint regarding, depicting on, how to handle the situation with um, Brookside. So each week, once again, as I reiterate, we will tackle, different things um, that highlights different components of the case study. Okay. Are there any insight questions or anything associated with the overview?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so everybody, pardon me?
Sorry.
Did someone say something? I'm sorry.
Commissioner is asking for permission to go out.
Someone was asking permission to do something. I couldn't quite hear you.
Oh, no, she wanted to go to our the restroom, so she was just asking.
Oh, okay. Okay, so practices and virtues, values, virtues. Um, we debated last week about solo and shared leadership, and what will work best. And so as we continue to examine the case study, case development is the disconnect between Brookside's stated values and the lived experiences. Um, that particular statement brings back a theory called Theory X and Theory Y. Theory X is okay, this is the stated values, this is what we say we believe in and what we're doing. And then Theory Y is the actual values and things and experiences that are, actually taking place, right? Um, so you say that cliche statement, mean what you say what you mean, do what you mean, type thing. Some people have this glorious vision, mission of an organization or a leadership team, and then they, the leaders, nor the constituents, um, following any of those practices. And so that's what that mean as it relates to the case. So Brookside stating that they value this, that, and the third, and then their actual experiences does not equate to what they're stating that that they value um, with the institution. So the key challenges with that is low staff morale, student disengagement, and parent confusion. So parents are confused, um, student disengagement, and low staff morale. Well, those kind of intertwine with each other. Last week I kind of spoke about um, how if the staff is off, what they give to the students, going to be off. And then the parents are going to be all over the place. Students going to be telling the parent one thing, the staff going to be telling the parent another. And then, there are so many disconnect. If I think someone may have asked or said something about disciplinary issues or problems one week. And that's probably one of the main things in an education organization, especially pre-K through 12. Um, if the staff is not supported by higher leadership, things of that nature, when it comes to disciplinary practices and virtues that the school's supposed, that they stated that they value, um, and then if they don't uphold to, the different steps to, I'm not gonna say punish the student or, but to re, you know, rectify the situation. Let's put it that way. Um, then the students are going to continuously to display those behaviors, and then the parents get confused. One minute, staff, oh, he's doing okay. We're working with them. Then the next day, the parent get a phone call. The child suspended for 5 days. Okay. And so now the parent is coming up there in their pajamas and their bonnets, going off on the staff because the teacher wrote the student up, and they're livid. Okay. The parent tired of getting phone calls from the school. Last week, the parent had positive conversations with the teachers. Everybody's working with little Johnny. Everybody has something in place to help little Johnny. But then you have the staff that's like, listen, little Johnny is more than just a check-in or an award system or whatever the case may be. And this week we ain't having it. Okay. Um, and so everybody kind of like dropped the ball on little Johnny. Everybody's tired of little Johnny. They done gave up on him. Okay. And so the parent is confused because the parent just had a conference the week prior to, and all these stated values and virtues and practices for little Johnny was in place. And the next week, little Johnny just told the staff nerves completely up. The morale went downhill. Okay. And leadership is calling home saying little Johnny's been suspended for 5 days. And the parent is confused. Okay. Um, so that's a dominant example of what that looks like in a pre-K through 12 um, learning institution. Okay. Discipline, the different levels of discipline, the actions, the warnings. You know, they give kids more warnings these days than actual consequences for actions. Okay. So just get used to that. Okay. Even if the child have an IEP, you know, certain things, and sometimes students, they know that they have that paperwork and they do things because they know they can get away with it, or nothing can be done to them because of the paperwork. And the parents do too, so they play on it. So you're gonna have to get creative and kind of read the room and check the temperatures. Okay. So that's just like a real full throttle, detailed example of stated values and actual experiences that may take place in um, a school culture. Okay. Um, so we want to tackle the task regarding virtue-based leadership applications. Um, so you want to be looking at Robinson's leadership virtues framework. Okay. Um, you have strategic, sorry, imaginative, and interpersonal. Um, so with each category, what specific challenges could be addressed? Okay. And then Sean's organizational culture model. You want to examine that, look at that to diagnose visible artifacts versus underlining assumptions. Okay. Um, and once again, um, now we already know what the issue is. So the challenge is up there. Low staff morale, student disengagement, parent confusion. Now I gave you all a full throttle example. So you can't use school discipline as your topic to examine. Um, so what else could possibly, this is getting you all to think outside the box. What else could possibly be going on at Brookside where there's low staff morale, student disengagement, parent confusion? Okay. Um, so you want to think about this particular question: how can leaders balance performance demands with virtue-based leadership at Brookside? Okay. Um, so is anyone familiar with Robertson's leadership virtues?
Uh, is it one of them building trust, if I can remember? When I was
Okay.
one of them's building trust, and then uh something to do with, yeah. I can't
Okay.
I gotta look up the other ones, but I remember
Oh,
reading them.
That's the interpersonal one.
Okay.
Okay.
Personal. But that's pretty much it. Steve.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, can you hear me, Dr. Hill?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay, so there are 5 of them. Leadership capabilities in school. One is establishing clear goals. 2, strategic resourcing. 3 is ensuring quality teaching. 4 is leading teaching, learning, and development. 5 is ensuring an orderly and supportive environment, which is based on his research.
Okay. Okay. Um, what about Shine's organizational culture model?
Let's see. Oh,
And can everyone use the chat to place um, some possible reasons why there's low staff morale, student disengagement, and parent confusion? You can either address all of them or you can address one in the group, but be specific inside the chat.
Dr. Hill, do you want Shines or Robinson's? Or does it really matter?
Shines.
Shines, okay.
Okay, AJ, I like that. Low staff morale because there's no reinforcement of positivity or communication. Okay. So there hasn't been any team development, workshops, outings, no collaboration or school culture being fostered. So nothing is established. Okay. Why will students be disengaged?
There wasn't that teacher buy-in.
Okay. I like the terms, the verbiage. No teacher buy-in. Um, let's see. I'm going to put one regarding student disengagement. Somebody shout out what I placed in the chat.
Classroom management.
Classroom management. If your classroom is not managed, it's easy for it to not be engaged or detached or all over the place or uh, uh, whatever the case may be. It's so easy. So it's imperative that you have some type of classroom management. So that can be something that when you all get in your groups to look at a task that you look at. No engaging material or teaching more robotic or forced. Okay. Okay. So maybe the teacher's philosophy of teaching. Okay. Anything else? Why would parents be confused?
Unclear expectations.
Oh, you say unclear expectations?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Some parents, they're not engaged. They don't have a clue. Okay. So yes, there are some parents that don't know what to do when the kid come home. They expect the teacher, you, the principal, the administrators to do all the training, okay, for that child. And when they come home, they don't know how to engage with their own child
Hmm.
in the academic setting. So the only structure that these children are getting is at the schoolhouse. That's why there may be some challenging behaviors and disengagement um, with some students. Okay, but that classroom management piece um, is so important when it comes to student disengagement. Okay, so when you all, get into your groups to do an innovative task this week regarding um, Brookside and the key challenges that we're facing this week to examine with the case study, I want classroom management to be carefully combed through as to why this played a key role to the values of a school um, versus what the school administration allows or what they don't allow to take place based off of the stated values that they have presented to the community and their families. Okay. Any additional um, insight or questions or regarding the topic? So when you're in your groups, you're going to be looking at Robertson's leadership virtual framework and uh, Sean's organizational culture model. Okay, to diagnose visible artifacts versus underlying assumptions. Okay, um, culture in an organization. Organizational culture is how things are done,
What's going on?
um, the way they're done,
Wait,
and
hold on. Sorry.
so the organizational culture is how things are done within that organization. Okay. Do they really stick by the values and practices, or they say one thing and they do another? Okay. Learning a culture, is everybody lazy fair? They do just enough just to get by. So if you get hired, you're going in and you're overdoing it, right? They're gonna at some point, oh, he or she doing too much. They don't fit the culture, or this culture is not for you, you know. Um, so culture is not skin color and what state or country you're from. Okay, when you're talking about organizational leadership or culture models. Okay, so just keep that in mind. How things are done. Okay, so these are some examples. I'm going to read each one of them out loud. Um, and I want you to, take note of one that you may think would be interesting for your group. And then I'm going to open up the rooms for you all to go in. You should know which room you're in. Okay. And you're going to all kind of, recite, okay, this one I think will be interesting to do to tackle this week's activity regarding the case study. Um, and so you all vote on which form of interactive activity you're going to embark upon to talk about this week's key challenges with the case study. Okay. And so when you all come back, I'll give about like 3 minutes for you all to choose as a team, not the leaders of the group making the final decision, but you all coming together to um, discuss which interactive leadership simulation you all want to do. Once Now, the leader for each group will state out loud when we come back together which one will be done. So you may want to have the main one that you want to do and then a optional one, because if one group states something before you get to go, then you can't do the same one. Okay. So each group needs to choose um, two of the simulations to focus on, and then you know we'll go from there. So leadership virtues gallery walk: create a physical or virtual gallery station for each leadership virtue. Students rotate through stations, applying virtues to Brookside scenarios, document insights on shared digital whiteboard for collective learning. Okay. Culture, iceberg 3D modeling. Um, Build physical or digital 3D models of Shin's cultural iceberg. Place Brookside's artifacts, values, and assumptions at appropriate levels. Present models explaining cultural misalignments and solutions. Leadership excellence video production: create a 2-minute video demonstrating um, leadership virtues in action. Use role play to show before and after scenarios at Brookside. Um, Share in film festival format with your feedback. Now, I will um, give a resource. Tinkercad.com is a um, oh, I typed it in wrong. Tinkercad.com is a 3D, a free 3D. So for gamers, those that like to build things, um, so I'm going to copy this and put it in chat. I think the one that I put wasn't that it. Okay, so I put Tinkercad in the chat. Hold on, let me reshare my screen. So that's for those that want to tackle anything 3D, and you'll have enough time to play around with it. So for those that are real good with technology and building things, whoever has those gifts and talents in the group, that would be your baby. If that's what your group selects. I will say this as well. Look at what's on the screen. Okay. And you can mix up the activities. So you may be creating a 2-minute video demonstrating leadership virtues in action that discusses Brookside scenarios as it relates to the challenges or the key issues for this week. So as a recap, in the chat, key challenges with the case study this week is what? Parent confusion. What else?
Staff engagement.
Is it low morale?
Yeah, low morale, and then the teacher engagement or something like that. The
There
buy-in.
was there was the student disengagement.
Okay. And student disengagement. Okay. So I put that in the chat just so you can have something to refer back to. So those are the key challenges within the case study. Okay. There are different online platforms that allow you to do gallery walks and things of that nature. Just make sure that whatever you do, you're talking about Robertson's leadership framework as it relates to the key challenges. Okay. Um, but you have to have a rationale, you know, why there may be parent confusion. That's why I asked not too long ago, why may parents be confused? Why may there be low staff morale? And why might students be disengaged? And I gave you all a prime example, classroom management. Many teachers have a hard time with that, especially first year teachers. They're wore out before the first month is out, is up. Okay. Um, So Robertson's leadership virtues framework. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Okay, so that needs to be highlighted. And then Shin's organizational culture model. Okay. And you always want to remember the overall discussion question. How can leaders balance performance demands? So how can we get those students engaged, learning, growing, and thriving with virtue-based leadership at Brookside? So what do we need to do to increase or change the staff morale, change parent confusion, and get students engaged um, based off of the virtues, okay? And kind of take Brookside in a virtue-based leadership approach to finding some solutions, right? Are there any questions? Let me go to,
Like, okay. Professor?
yes,
So basically, like as we're getting separated into groups, we're just doing either the leadership value gallery walk, the culture iceberg, or the video production. And then we're just like using what you said in the chat to like make it.
correct,
Okay.
correct,
Sounds good.
okay? So the first time going into your breakout rooms, you're going to be taking 3 minutes to decide. Hopefully, you all been writing down some of these that you find interesting. Okay, you're going to come up with maybe two things that you want to do. I will be writing them down for each group so I know who's doing what. Okay. I provided a resource in the chat for 3D models that's free. Just use your little Google, your Google account to create a free account, and you can build a model there to show if that's what you choose to do. And you can research other um, interactive platforms to display your information. Okay. All right. So if you don't remember what room you in, once everybody gets settled in a room, I will place you there based off of what's in my notes. But you should remember your rooms. So let's take 3 minutes to decide what your group will do, and then we'll come back. And the leaders will let me know, what you're gonna do.
Professor? Dr. Hill?
Professor, I had a question.
Justice, I don't think she's here.
Oh, bruh. Thanks for telling me that.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
kidding.
thanks, yes.
Yes.
I was just wondering, my group was just wondering how if we do the video, how do we put a 2-minute video together and how would we share it?
Well, that's a great task for you all to figure out. But y'all hadn't decided yet, because I mean y'all ain't told me which one you want to do. But if you did a video, do y'all know how to do screen share? I mean screen record?
Um, I think so. I think there's some websites that we can use.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'll talk to them about it and see how they want to proceed.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank-
Thank you. Uh-huh.
Professor,
Yes.
I'm in the Teletubbies, but there's nobody else in my group. Like, I don't think the people are here today.
In the Teletubbies group?
Yeah,
Wait, let me see. Some people be forgetting. Okay.
I know Emma's not here.
What's not here? Is Stephanie here?
I'm not sure.
Stephanie's not here. Um, I'm just gonna move you to the 18. How about that?
Okay. Okay, yeah, that works. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Professor or Dr. Hill? My bad. Dr. Hill? Okay. Accent. Would you mind? Like really light breathing. Would you mind putting me in a breakout room, please? Oh wait, never mind. I got it.
Yes.
I was just wondering what time we were supposed to be back. I think my group finished our
Okay.
slides.
Okay.
Okay, I'll probably should I tell them to come back into the main room?
No, not yet. I'm
Okay.
about to close the workout rooms.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Um, let's start with the 18.
Is there any chance we could have another minute? Just go later or something? I think a few of us are still finishing up.
Okay, that's fine. The baddies of Cali.
We still need some time as well, if possible.
Uh, Chatropolis.
We're good.
Okay, you all can go ahead and start.
Okay, so our group did the Leadership Virtues Gallery Walk, and in this, we are focusing on addressing the issue of student disengagement at Brookside Middle School. Um, just a little overview of the issue. They are trying to change the curriculum. The principal isn't having as good of communication with the other staff members, and all of this has led to student disengagement throughout this presentation or gallery walk. We integrated the Robinson's leadership virtues as well as the Sheen's organizational cultural model as well. So, kind of an overview of the gallery walk. We go over each leadership virtue. We are analyzing it and relating it to different parts of that Brookside case study. We are applying the leadership virtues from a cultural lens, and we also have some interactive reflection questions that can be participated in either through the chat or if people want to speak out on the mic or not answer at all, that's cool too. But we have some discussion, reflective questions lined up.
For the Brookside disengagement, key disengagement indicators at Brookside were low student motivation, limited student voice, inconsistent instructional expectations, weak relationships between students and staff, and then the connection to the Sheen. It would be the artifacts, low participation, behavior referrals, espouse values, claims of student-centered learning, underlying assumptions students are unmotivated or apathetic.
That's awkward. So now we go into the leadership virtue station one. This is the first station, which is talks about the strategic. This aligns with the virtues of Robinson. So the overall challenge from Brookside is that there's a lack of clear school-wide vision for student engagement. So how can we apply this? We can apply this with shared school-wide definition of student engagement. So like having like some sort of like a meeting with a lot of different types of leaders within your school and other schools to like talk about it, probably like in a conference or so. Um, the next one would be instructional goals aligned to engagement outcomes. And then lastly, it would be leadership modeling and feedback focused on engagement. So this connects to Sean's because it aligned the spouse, which is engagement matters, values with daily practices. And the reflection on this is how can strategic leadership clarify priorities to improve student engagement?
Okay, Virtue Station 2 is going to be analytic. The main issue at Brookside isn't missing data, it's more how disengagement data is being used or misunderstood. So attendance, behavior, and engagement data is often looked at separately instead of together. So to apply this, we can analyze these data points collectively and break them down. Um, this connects to Sheen because it pushes leaders to challenge assumptions about disengagement and move away from just blaming students. And the reflection prompt for you guys is what data should leaders examine before deciding how to address disengagement?
Leadership virtue. Leadership virtues, Station 3, Legislative Brookside Challenge. All teaching methods don't keep students interested. Application use hands-on projects and give student choices. Support teachers in trying new ideas. Teams connection changes what classroom looks like and how students learn. Respects prompt. How can creative leadership help students feel more connected to school?
So now we have the leadership virtue station 4, which is the interpersonal. So the challenge at Brookside is that there's weak relationship between the staff and the overall students. So applications and the way that we can apply this is probably to build trust through consistent communication. So by that, we can allow for students to have a voice and belonging, which is why like a lot of schools have student councils where students are able to speak up and talk about their problems and what they see in their school. There's also leadership modeling and feedback focused on engagement. So connecting this to Sean is it shifts the underlying assumption about students' abilities and motivation. The reflective prompt for this would be how do strong relationships impact student engagement and overall student culture?
Leadership virtues work best when they're used together. Strategic leadership helps gives clear direction. Analytic leadership helps leaders understand problems. Imaginative leadership helps create new ideas. Interpersonal leadership helps build trust. When leaders use all of these skills, they can create real culture change. This change only works when leaderships are consistent at every level of the school.
So, some additional guided questions that we came up with based on our gallery walk and what the information that we gathered relating it to the different theories. How does culture improve or block engagement? What should be the leader's first priority? And which of the shown leadership virtues do you believe is most critical at Brookside? And then finally, some of the overview, conclusion, main ideas, takeaways that we got from this was that the Robinson virtues allow for the development of supportive leadership behaviors. Sheen's model shows us why disengagement is happening. Student disengagement is due to both leadership and cultural problems. And for change to happen, we need to set goals along with create strong relationships and being creative in the classroom. And that is all.
All right. Can everyone give them some celebratory emojis? Do anyone have questions for the group? Does anyone have any questions for the group? Okay. The amigos.
We can go.
Okay.
Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide. So we did all three parent confusion. Oh my gosh, why is it not moving? Wait 1 second. Can you guys see it?
Um,
What the heck? Sorry, guys.
try one time. You're good.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, why did it do that? It pauses it. I think it's because I'm in full screen. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to keep it like this because it keeps pausing. We did the parent confusion, low staff morale, and student disengagement, and we figured out ways to, I guess, make them better. And we kind of made like workshops for each challenge. So the first one is parent confusion, and I think Taylor's explaining this one.
So yeah, for each of them, it was kind of like a workshop station. So for the parents that were confused, it was kind of like they come together and work together to work out the confusion or any questions they have. So they are going to explore how leaders use courage as one of Robinson's leadership virtues to handle real challenges. Our focus is Brookside's ongoing problem with parent confusion about school decisions and communications. So, what will happen is that parents will rotate through a series of stations, each showing a short scenario about parent communication at Brookside at each station. So, first is read the scenario carefully, then discuss with your group how a courageous leader would respond and think about questions like, and then the questions are what would it take to have honest conversations with parents? How can leaders share difficult information without avoiding conflict? And how can courage help rebuild trust when parents feel confused or frustrated? And they can write their ideas, strategies, and questions on the shared digital whiteboard with like Google Slides or Padlet, or if it's like an in-person one, they could use paper. Everyone can get just a pen and paper and write down these questions. So after everyone has visited all stations, we'll review like their papers or whiteboard, whichever platform they decided to use, and compare strategies and reflect on how courage helps leaders tackle challenges and see how brave, honest leadership can reduce parent confusion and improve trust at Brookside.
Okay, and next is low staff morale. Rebuilding morale and engagement. The purpose is to rebuild staff morale and engagement by applying Robinson's leadership virtues framework through listening, trust building, shared leadership, and purposeful action. The first step is listen first and let the people you're talking to know you're listening. Anonymous staff input and small group voice sharing. This step lowers defensiveness and fear. When staff can speak honestly without consequences, they feel respected and heard. And low morale often comes from feeling ignored. Listening restores dignity and trust. Two is building trust. Leaders listen, no defending, identify common themes. Leaders intentionally do not explain or justify decisions. This signals humility and care. Trust grows when staff see leaders prioritizing understanding over control. Third is focus and prioritize. Staff vote on top issues, align actions to core goals. Morale improves when staff see that feedback leads to action. Prioritizing a few shared concerns reduces overwhelm and shows leadership and serious about change. Four is protect time. A stop, start, continue activity. And then cut low impact tasks. Burnout is a major morale issue. This step shows respect for teachers' time by removing unnecessary work. Even small reductions signal the staff's well-being matters. Five, share leadership, staff-led action teams, and a 30-day improvement pilot. Giving teachers leadership roles increases ownership and professional value. Morale rises when staff feel trusted to lead solutions rather than comply with mandates. And six is reconnect to purpose. Share student successes and connect to mission. Low morale often disconnects staff from meaning. Highlighting student impact reminds teachers why their work matters and reinforces collective efficacy. And then the outcome is higher engagement, stronger trust, and shared ownership of improvement. By balancing performance with virtue, this workshop addresses morale and its at its root, relationship, voice, and purpose, while it's still moving Brookside toward improvement. And then student disengagement.
So this is another one of the workshops. So the purpose of this is to re-engage disengaged students by giving them a short, low-pressure activity that builds confidence and participation. So how it works is students go to the station for 5 minutes. They read a short question or prompt. They write or talk about their answer, and then they share with a partner or the teacher. And then some of the example prompts is one thing I understand today is, one question I still have is, and something interested I learned is. So just kind of going at the end of the day over what they found most interesting throughout the day, just to re-engage them, and that in the future they know that they have this assignment, so they stay more engaged, so they have things to write and talk about. And the materials would just be paper, pencils, and crayons if they wanted to add some color or draw images as well as an option. And step 3 is why this helps. It gives students a voice, reduces stress and frustration, builds confidence, encourages participation, and helps students identify learning gaps. And then connection to disengagement is this station helps disengaged students feel heard and supported because the task is short and simple. Students are more likely to participate without feeling overwhelmed.
And that's it.
That is great. I believe that um having innovative, what is it called? Innovative, like workshop stations, interactive, scenario based application, um, to incorporate the purpose of those theories, kind of help model the expectations of the outcome if everyone actually participates, right? um and so yes, you all did a phenomenal job. I think you all incorporated a little more, a combination, that's what I want to say, incorporated a combination of the simulations, which is great, which is, it shows that you know how to implement, you understand, and can apply more than one. Um, so you all did really well. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. I'm just writing some notes. Hold on. The A team, are you all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so we also did leadership virtues gallery walk. It's by us. Okay, so for the first virtue, for strategic virtue, so for this workstation, we will have a poster labeled "What problems do you see?" and what they reveal to them, how they reveal themselves to you. So where leaders will write about what they're observing inside Brookside Middle School. Leaders will then pick an issue, focus based like on what the concerns are. So low staff morale, student engagement, parent communication as well. Leaders will then place themselves in a strategic leader perspective, placing sticky notes on the poster labeling what they believe Brookside should stop doing, start, and continue with their leadership. Doing this gains the perspective of the student/leader of what they will consider to be the best for the situation based on their personal passionate issues.
Okay, so for the analytic virtue station, students will be asked to examine staff surveys, student engagement data, attendance trends, and parents' feedback to identify patterns and root causes of Brookside's challenges. They will then act as data detectives by using the evidence to uncover the real cause of one Brookside challenge and use that data to figure out what the most likely cause of the problem is. And this helps shows that leaders with strong analytic virtues don't jump to quick fixes. They use evidence to understand the real issue first. And then this would help address the challenges by low staff morals. Data helps students identify specific causes of frustration so leaders know what to improve. Student disengagement, attendance, participation, and performance trends help reveal when and where students disagree. And then for parent confusion, feedback and communication data helps leaders find out which messages or processes are unclear for families.
And then for imaginative virtue, so what the students will do at this section is they will read the scenario posted at the station. So for example, like if it was a recess conflict, so there's limited playground equipment, which causes arguments, exclusion of certain students, and then staff intervention. So then they'll discuss in small groups. So how can imagine if they can create a new solution that helps everybody be satisfied instead of compromising. So they'll brainstorm together and agree on one creative specific solution. So like for example, turn recess into zones, rotating like theme stations, co-op games and student like equipment relays, just so everyone can feel more involved, or like storytelling. And they can rotate on their roles, and then they will write the group's best insight or solution on a sticky note. So one clear what if idea and how it would improve morale, engagement, and alignment at Brookside, and how this can the application applying to Brookside, it would be so low for the low morales. Um, this would be creative, low effort staff appreciation events are imaginative professional development that energizes them, and for student disengagement, so inventing like fresh, engaging activities for them directly to make them feel learning more meaningful and make it more fun and engaging for them. And for the parent confusion, it'd be like creative, imaginary communication tools, events, and get the parents engaged or excited.
Okay, so the next station is the interpersonal virtue station. So this station allows students to explore the interpersonal leadership virtue to focus on building trust, listening to others, and creating positive relationships. The disconnect between what Brookside Middle School says it values and the key challenges that they are facing shows a clear disconnect, which is what the station aims to address. So, at the station, students should imagine that they're a leader at Brookside and think about which two actions they would take first to improve relationships, and then they should briefly explain why their choices show interpersonal leadership and how they could improve trust and communication. So, these actions should be written onto a collaborative poster entitled How Can Leaders Improve Relationships? So this poster will continue to be added onto as different groups and individuals go through the stations. And then next, the student should think about Brookside school culture using Skeen's model or culture model. And then just kind of focusing on mission statements in newsletters because those are things you can easily see. Collaboration and respect are values that the school claims to believe in, and the feeling that our voices don't matter. These reflect a deeper belief held by the staff, students, or parents. So students at the station should consider how strong interpersonal leadership could help bring these pieces into a better alignment to kind of reduce that disconnect that the last slide was talking about. And then finally, students should imagine a teacher has resigned because they no longer trust leadership and the parents are sharing concerns, which doesn't seem far off based on the case study. And then describe one relationship-focused leadership action that could help rebuild that trust and improve communication. Before moving to the next station or looping back around, depending on where they're at in the stations, the student should reflect on how interpersonal leadership affects morale and engagement and think about which group at Brookside most needs better relationship building right now. And then this action should be added to a poster entitled Relationship Focused Leadership, which again is collaborative and lots of people, everyone who goes through the stations will add to it. And that's it.
Okay. Once again, y'all did a phenomenal job implementing scenario-based applications to model the expectations of the theories to tackle the challenges in which uh, the school will need. phenomenal job. Um, the baddies of Cali.
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen. Go. Okay. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so our topic was the leadership excellence through video production. Our group is made out of like Savannah, Pokalani, Jolene, Mike, and Meeple. And as the introduction, in this high engagement exercise, the teams are tasked with producing a training video that models ideal shared leadership behaviors. The process in which we are going to be doing that is instead of watching a video, the team creates one. They must script scenarios showing active listening, collaborative decision making, and conflict resolution. And for the benefits of that, to film a perfect example of shared leadership, the team has to first deeply understand what those behaviors look like in practice. So this often reveals the team's own biases and provides a North Star for their life experience.
So the second slide is the intervention video production simulation. The headline from passive observers to active leaders. What is it? It's a high-stakes simulation where Brookside staff must script, film, and edit a shared leadership success story. The shift to film a perfect example of leadership, staff must first define and the staff must first define and analyze those behaviors to go moving from talking about the values to performing them.
In our first scenario, the team script a film like a scene where leaders actively participate in teacher learning to address student disengagement. And the activity reinforces that leadership is not about issuing directives, it's about like engaging in like collective problem solvings. Through the stimulation, the staff begin to shift underlying assumptions, and it's highlighted in Sheen's model. It's about shared responsibility for student success. Scenario two, this scenario focuses on conflict and collaboration. So by having teams script a disagreement between a veteran and a new teacher around student engagement, rather than relying on principal intervention, the conflict must be resolved through relational trust as emphasized in Robinson's leadership virtues. By scripting their own resolution, teachers develop psychological ownership, making it more likely that collaborative practices carry over into real situations.
Impact the video as a North Star headline: changing culture through visual artifacts. Culture change would be the finished videos become the new artifacts. Scheme for Brookside. Lived experience, the act of co-producing the videos and active shared leadership. Sustained engagement, students see a unified, empowered teaching front, which increases their own buy-in. Conclusion, the debate point. Headline: Why this beats solo leadership. Solo leadership can write a policy on engagement but cannot inspire the heart of it. Our simulation proves that shared leadership creates active commitment rather than passive compliance. Final word: we don't need a heroic leader at Brookside, we need a leadership excellence culture. Thank
And
you.
that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, 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 great. I am convinced that by the time we get to the end of the course, you all will be more than equipped um, to really come up with a whole intervention plan, okay, of what Brookside need to implement, whether it's a sole leadership or a shared leadership, and you will identify that appropriately um, when need be. Okay, um, so just think about the different tasks that you've done over time and how to put it and bring it all together. Okay. I need everyone to look at this week's collaboration discussion question. Okay, so I have it here on the screen. Um, so once again, it's back to uh, what you all um, should have discussed, gathered, researched in your groups. What I'm going to do different is I want to allow you uh, time in your groups. I may just do some random groups. Maybe three groups. Um, so it'll be room one, room two, room three. Is gonna disperse everybody by itself. I'm not, you know. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna talk about these this discussion. Um, you are going to help each other locate some peer review resources. And then someone in the group needs to also look at the rubric to ensure that everybody's initial post meets the criteria for full uh, participation points. Okay. If you've already done it, okay, if you've already done it, that's fine. So you're going to share and help your peers create their narrative for their initial posts. Um, and then hopefully you all can post before class end. Okay. All right. The rooms are open.
Bye, Professor.
Bye, Professor. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next week.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.